Hello, and welcome back to the Suffering for Art podcast. We have a special guest today who is in the studio with us.
Hi, I'm Cara Rose DiPetrio.
Welcome. I'm so happy you are here. Thank you for taking the time. It's literally so great to have you.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me. I'm so stoked to be here.
Yes. Today we're talking about side hustles. And the specific side hustle that we're going to talk about is being an influencer. Which you are. How does it feel when people tell you, say that you're an influencer?
I feel like it's so funny. I literally joked about the term in the show that I wrote on Monday. I feel like the word feels less weird coming out of my mouth now. It used to feel very weird because I felt like I didn't really identify with the term. I was like, I feel like I don't really fit that. Now I'm like, sure. I guess that's correct. I signed my name under that line enough now that I'm like, sure.
Yeah, that's fair. When did you first start? So I know you started on TikTok, kind of doing the theater world and posting about that. But when did you take a second and think, oh, I think I'm starting to actually do this? And I think I can make money off of this. When did that click for you?
It was interesting. I feel like there were two separate moments. When I first was oh, I'm doing this. This is a thing that I'm doing. That was a couple months in because I started posting videos kind of just for fun and for shits and gigs just because it was really fun during a production of Little Women in 2021. And then I went right into a production of Catch Me If You Can, and I kept posting. And that was when I really started growing. And it was during that run that I was oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can do something with this.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until that summer, end of that summer, when I really started to grow. And I started basically I got back to New York that summer, and that summer was when I started to enter the creator space within the theater world and the creator space within New York. But really specifically especially when I was first starting the creator space within the theater community, that it started to be oh, I could make an income here.
Yeah.
And this is before I was represented, I was still really independent. But that was when even I was okay, this is on. I knew people could.
Right.
But I was oh, I guess I could do this.
Yeah. And did that did it just feel like posting to you, or were you actively being I want to start this?
Yeah. So it kind of was a little bit of both.
Okay.
I knew that I wanted to grow, but it was also it was so much fun to me because it was the thing I always say about social media is that it gives me agency, creative agency over my life. Because it's this, I would be, working these 40-hour weeks, waiting tables, but I had this thing in my back pocket that was just mine that let me be creative. And I could do whatever I want there, I could make whatever videos I wanted, and it was creative and it was fun, and it made me feel I was furthering my life and my career in whatever way I wanted. And so so it was fun, and I was just posting to post, but also I wanted to grow. So I was posting consistently every single day, 2 to 3 times a day for almost 2 years, which is crazy. I don't really recommend because it did result in some crazy burnout. Yeah. So I don't really recommend that. It was a little crazy. But it's I was intentional, but also I was incredibly intentional and still am to this day of protecting my joy for it. And that's the only reason why I think I've been able to be consistent with it.
Yeah.
Because the second I feel I have to, it's not fun.
Yeah.
And then you loathe it, and it's well, why are you doing it? And all that.
That's so fair. So I'm also in the social media realm, but not on the level of being an influencer, I would say. I just go in there and I post to sing because I, like you said, similarly wanted a space for myself to just be able to do whatever I wanted to do. And that's kind of what it became for me. And even I don't think I'll ever take it further than that. For me, it's not about turning it into a job per se, but I think it is very interesting that you mentioned having the joy in it, because I think anything that's creative can kind of have a boundary to it that can go too far where it becomes too much work. I felt that in college with theater, where I was kind of just I have to do everything for a grade. This just feels like work. It doesn't feel like joy anymore. It doesn't feel authentic anymore. It was just I have to do this. And so how do you make sure when you're posting, you are still keeping that firm boundary? How, I know you said you were posting 2 times a day for 2 years, which is God. Like, how do you make sure, even in that, when you're like, I need to grow, this is how I'm growing, whatever, how do you still make sure to have that boundary of keeping it joyful?
Yeah. I think, honestly, and I didn't totally do this intentionally, and like maybe I did, but I just didn't really know that I was. I kind of curated this platform based on nothing else but myself, and not just one part of me, but all of me. So like, I genuinely, like, I can talk about anything on my account and it will perform pretty similarly to any other video that I post. So I have this ability to literally talk about anything at any time, and my audience will respond to it. So the second that I start feeling like I have to, like I'm so like theater, if I'm like feeling so fed up and so burnt out with the industry or like auditions and performing, I won't talk about it. I won't talk about it for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like I will just talk about anything else and every other part of my life that I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Or like if I'm feeling really passionate about it, that's all I'll post about.
Yeah.
So like I always just try to protect my joy for it. And the second that I feel like I have to post, it becomes stressful, I try to take a step back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you want to do? What would make you like, what would be funny and happy?
Yeah.
Because like the truth is like, especially when it comes to like a platform like TikTok, it's like, oh my God, like just post like one stupid little video for you, for your heart. Like just do that.
Yeah.
Remind yourself it's supposed to be fun. Stop taking it so seriously.
Yeah.
So I always really try to check in with myself in that regard. And I try to like really expand all of the areas in what I talk about so that like when one thing feels like too much, I can just talk about the other things that I love to talk about.
Yeah.
And that way it still is joyful. I don't feel like I have to talk about this one thing, especially now that it's like a part of my income. Now it's like posting is something that I do have to do. So how am I going to keep it something that I love to do when I do have to do it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's really great because I feel like what you hear a lot of, and I'm sure it ebbs and flows, but you hear when you're first starting as like a social media person to niche down and like to target who you think is going to be your backing and then grow from there. But I think like, yes, there are stats and analytics that go into posting. You do have to be strategic about it. But I think certain platforms, especially like TikTok, it's like you post it and people forget about it. So it's like if you can niche down, whatever, but still have those moments for yourself where it's like, I'm just going to post a video that I want to.
Yeah.
I'm going to have fun for a little bit, make sure I still have a strategy, but like, you know, this is still fun. You know, I think that's really important. When you first started, when did you first start making money?
Oh my gosh. I want to say I first started making money the summer of 2022. Okay. And that was when I first, like, I think I maybe did like one brand deal or two before I signed with representation.
Okay.
A manager. And then it was around the like fall-ish of 2022 that I signed with my first manager. And that was when it started to become a source of an income for me.
Okay.
Like a secondary income.
So you essentially took a brand deal and then you were like manager?
Kind of.
Okay.
There are like platforms where like you as a freelance like content creator can connect with brands and do deals and things. And like, so I had done some of those. I also like, I had my email in my bio and I had some brands reach out to me. But it's tough because like, I am not just a content creator. Like I'm an actor who makes content about her life.
Right.
So it was like one of the reasons why I really signed with a manager is because I was like working 40 hours a week as a waiter. I was auditioning via the things that my agents were sending me. I was auditioning via the things that I was doing on my own. Yeah. And then I was making content. And then I was also filling my own inbox and I was like, I can't do all of this myself. I need help. Because it was something I wanted to do, but I couldn't handle it all myself.
Yeah.
And I was really fortunate that I had a friend that was connected me with two managers that she was like, I've talked to these people before, I'm already represented, but like really liked them. You should email them. Wow. And it just happened to work out.
Wow.
Yeah, but that was when I first, it is. She's one of my, actually, it's so funny, she actually is the reason I'm with my current representation now.
Wow.
And she said something to me I'll never forget. When we had never even met, went together to the Tonys in 2022, which is something that like changed, like especially when I first came back to the city, in terms of social media, like skyrocketed a lot of things for me and my platform. And I was like, why are you being so nice to me? Like, we've never met. And she said, I would not be where I am today if other women hadn't held open doors for me when I needed them held open. So if I can hold open a door for someone else, I will.
Wow.
And she consistently has.
Wow.
Y'all literally never forget it. She's the best.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Shout out to you.
I'll try.
Yeah. That's awesome. Absolutely love that. So you pretty much like started posting for fun, started posting because you were like, I want to grow. You started gaining a following. Essentially, it got to a point where you were like, okay, everything's going on. Everything is happening. I have so many different avenues of like what's going on in my life. I need help. You got a manager. When you got that manager, do you think it propelled you to the next level? Do you think it propelled you in terms of like clearing the table for you to be able to focus just on content making, pairing you with brands in a different way? Did you like learn more things about the industry? Like, tell me about that.
Literally all of what you just said.
Heard.
Because it was basically what happened was I was no longer fielding my inbox. And it was kind of like, in terms of theater, it was like the exact same thing for social media.
Heard.
So like I no longer was fielding my own inbox or doing my own outreach. So I could just focus on making my content.
Yeah.
And the manager that I was with, they had connections and relationships with the brands. So they would pitch me for campaigns that I would have had no idea about to these brands. And when I would get, like, that was the email that was in my bio. So if a brand saw me online and they were like, we would love to work with her, they would email that email. And I had access to it, but it would all go through to my manager. And she would go back and forth. And she would say, hey, like, this is the deal that I just negotiated with. And she would send me the offer. She'd say, do you want to go for it? And if I said yes, she would negotiate the contract. I would sign it. And my only responsibility was to create the content.
Oh, that's so
And
nice.
then she would be the liaison between me and the brand when it came to like edits and posting.
Yeah.
And then that was the nice thing about a manager is that she, because of that, was able to negotiate like rates that made it a source of a secondary income.
Yeah.
Like I remember that Christmas being like, oh my gosh, like I can buy my family like real Christmas presents this year.
Wow.
I'll never forget that feeling. I will literally never forget it. It was like there was like this tea kettle that I really wanted to buy my stepmom, and I was like, wait, I can buy her. That's you.
I can buy it now.
And like, I'll never like that sticks. I'll never forget that. Like that sticks out to me so much.
Wow.
But it was really that, and I learned a lot about kind of how that market worked, and also. It's a little bit different because like my managers that I was with for 2 years, those first managers who were so wonderful, they were based in Texas, but my manager was based in LA.
Okay.
So we would like communicate, like we would meet every month on like virtually, but we would text all the time and email all the time. But they would also connect me to like events that were happening here. So like if there were events happening in New York, like they would have connections and like I would go to them. Or like say if like there was a project coming up and I just like needed someone on that meeting to be a secondary resource for me, even as backup.
Yeah.
Like even if, and it was so funny, like even if she was like, Cara, I don't know anything about theater, but I will sit there and just so that you, like they know that you have someone else in your corner, like, and she would be like, I don't know what they're saying right now, but like I'm here, like.
Love it. That's so nice because then you essentially just have someone who's an expert. And it's interesting because funny enough, we planned this convo before kind of the talk about pay with influencers started. I don't know if you've seen that on TikTok. It's kind of been a thing where like bigger influencers are saying how much they make in a year and people are being like, I have the same following as you. How am I not making that much money? And it's really just when you have a team behind you, I'm finding, you are in a different level because those people in their respective jobs have expert level intelligence that gets you into where you need to go and matches you with people you need to match with, can tell you the rate of pay you should actually be taking. Like I know I've done some brand deals with people and I don't know the rates. I'm like, I don't do this. And so then you can like, you can charge too much, you can charge too little, and it's like, how do you ask for money? How do you, like, I don't know what the going rate is for a video for your brand. So, like, when you have somebody who has that intelligence, it just takes a weight off, I'm sure. So the thing for a lot of creatives is they have to have a side job because the industries suck and they don't pay enough. So you have to have a job that's flexible enough, that pays enough to pay your bills, that hopefully will allow you to actually make money. Because I feel like a lot of side jobs that people talk about, whether it's like nannying or waitressing or bartending, it's like those aren't money building jobs. They are more so like, I can pay my bills with this and that is about it. Most of the time, unless you're working crazy hours a week, right? So it's like, with whatever side hustle people choose, they have to be strategic in what they want from it. So I know a lot of people who are like, actually, I don't really care about saving money for the future. I'm like, shout out to you. I am like, I do care about saving money for the future. So like, my side job does have to have enough money behind it to where it allows me to continue stewarding the rest of my life instead of just where I am right now. And I'm wondering, with social media influencing, like, do you feel like it is a money building career, or is it just like a money now career?
It really depends. It can be both.
Heard.
And it, like, there are so many things that it can depend on. Because kind of like you said, and I can kind of attest to this because I am in a place right now where I just transitioned, like, in many different forms. I feel like this last spring, since after I gave the TED Talk, like, my life kind of changed in a sense of, like, different opportunities started presenting themselves and, like, different things just started happening that I was like, oh, I'm not, like in terms of, like, speaking engagements and, like, going to schools and, like, opportunities that I was like, oh, I'm not, I now need someone in the middle between, because I had my theater agents and I had my social media managers. I was like, I need someone in the middle.
Yeah.
And I don't know who that is. And so in the fall, my team kind of did a little changeover. And so now it looks a bit different. So now, instead of having a social media manager and my theater agents, I have a manager and a digital agent who work together.
Okay.
Who kind of basically work in tandem to be my digital representation. So, like, they do the same thing. Basically, my digital agent is the one who negotiates and like, brings in the deals and talks to these brands and negotiates the deals and negotiates the contracts, amongst other things as well. Like, does so many things. And then my manager is kind of the more creative side of that. When the campaign is all signed, she's the one that I work with when we're creating the content. Or, like, if there's a creative project going on, like, she's my point person. You know?
Yeah.
Not to be said that my digital agent is, it's like, but it's kind of like you have a team of two now doing the job of one.
Yeah.
But this new team that I signed with is based here in New York. It was kind of one of those, like, it just kind of, the thing, when a thing falls into your lap and you're like, wow, that timing just kind of worked out when it had to.
Yep.
And there were certain opportunities that were coming and it was like, wow, you just have the thing that I need in this moment, and this happened exactly when it was supposed to.
Yeah.
And it was one of those, like, oh, you also understand the theater world. And I had always said, like, I don't need my social media management to understand the theater world. Like, I can be the one who does that. So to have representation, I was like, oh my gosh, you get social media and you get theater. Whoa. That's crazy.
Right.
It's so helpful. When I say the word Crothers, you know what I'm talking about. You know what those are.
Yep.
But it's interesting because, kind of like what you said, like, people say, I have the same amount of following that you do, and I don't make what you make. It's not about your followers that I'm learning. That's something that I learned when I first signed with management. It's all about your analytics, and it's about your engagement. And something that I learned, it's I heard this about Anthony Bourdain when he was first starting out with his TV show. He didn't have a ton of viewers. Like, he didn't have, like, this huge following, but every single person that watched him was loyal as hell. Every person was so engaged, and that was why everyone wanted him. That's why everyone wanted his show, because they knew that his followers hung on to every word.
Right.
And so, like, when it comes, like, you could have 1 million followers, but if you look at your views, and if you get, like, if you have 1 million followers and you get 20,000 views for every video you post,
right,
and maybe 2,000 likes, it's like your community isn't very engaged, and your
Yeah.
community is what's important. And you can only do so much with your following.
Yeah.
So like I always say, like, I don't have an insanely big following.
Yeah.
Like I'm so proud of what I have, and I love the community that I have built. And I use the word community very intentionally. And that is why I think I've like been able to kind of build the thing that I have. And since I have transitioned to this new team, it has become a money saving opportunity. And I think that's due to many factors. I think one of them is due to the fact that like it's my engagement. You know, my engagement is the most important thing.
Yeah.
That is how it becomes a money saving opportunity. Is when it's not about the numbers in terms of like your followers. It's about how many people like are invested in you. You have to get them to care about you.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of like when it comes to like niching down and all this stuff, like that's fine. They have to be invested in you.
Yeah.
When you build like a community of people, and then when brands see that, they know that like, great, when you talk about us, because then it's like, when I see a creator that I like post an ad, I'm like, hell yeah, get that bag, and I'll watch it through. Like, you know?
Yeah.
So like, and the higher that your analytics are, the more that you can vouch to be like, my managers can be like, her analytics are good.
Right.
These are her rates.
Yeah.
Like my rates can go higher the better my analytics are.
Because your conversion rate is higher. Like people will watch you and then go to the link.
Exactly.
Heard.
Like how many, like that's, and when, exactly. So the things I'm talking about are like link clicks per story and how many likes and comments per post. You know, what like, and there will be like different percentages or like how many, it's like average watch time per video or like things like all of those kind of things. Like average story clicks and likes and all those kind of things. Those are really important.
Yeah.
I think it also truly is like representation really helps. You know, I do like I think in the last basically I've always been a waiter as well as having social media because social media is great. It's just I would say social media has been nice because it's given me the flexibility to work a job that I'm only having to work like 2 to 3 days a week, which is like crazy.
Yeah.
I've never in my life been able to live in this city and work like part-time. So that's been such a blessing. It's just given me the financial flexibility, but it has been a pay my bills kind of job. And for the last 2 months, I've tried out full-time freelancing because I've had the financial ability to do so.
That's awesome.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
So scary. I've always been way too scared to do it.
Right.
I'm like, oh my gosh, not having weekly income is so scary. But now for the first time, it's starting to become like a money saving thing. Like this show that I did on Monday.
Yeah.
I was able.
Pause. Your solo show that you did on Monday. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But it was like because of social media, I was able to put away $2,000.
Wow.
To burn and lose if I had to.
Wow.
Like that was because I knew like a couple months ago, I was like, okay, if I want to do this.
Yeah.
And it was because of social media that it was like, okay, I'm going to put a certain amount away every month, every couple of weeks.
That's awesome.
And so it really like, it depends, and there's so many different factors.
Yeah. So like, to summarize that, because we can't go into all the factors, you're finding that with a team, with representation, with people in your corner, and having the community that you've built and people who care about you and who you are and what you represent has led to you having higher rates that you can charge brands because people are more likely to watch your stories, click on links, like your videos, watch your videos for a certain amount of time, share your videos, and you're finding, like slowly but surely, you're able to take this side hustle and turn it into, hopefully, a full-time gig.
Yeah, the last 2 months it has been, which has been wild.
That's crazy.
And it's been cool because it's like that's been able to support me full time while I do the thing that I actually do.
Yeah.
You know, which is perform.
Yeah.
And audition and that. Like, so it's been very, very interesting. And like the biggest blessing in the world.
Right.
Like what?
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
You find it's like easy to manage. Well, I say easy. You find that you have enough flexibility to be able to go to an audition, do a self-tape, whatever. Like the schedule, it's on your time, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Because your days are free.
Yeah.
It's like, it truly, truly is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Would you suggest to like listeners out there who have been thinking about going into influencing and also balancing a creative lifestyle, like, are you a person who's like, actually it's oversaturated, it's very difficult to break in? Are you a person who's like, just go for it, like just do it? What's your advice?
I think the cool thing about social media is that like there's space for everyone. Like there's no like, I don't know, I feel like in some places it's like, oh, there's only one job, there's only one position. Like that doesn't exist online. Yeah. Like there's room for everyone there.
Yeah.
Like I think that this, like, it is one of the one places where it physically cannot be, like there literally is space at the table for everyone because there's no table.
Yeah.
Like
there's literally no table. Yeah.
And I think the only thing I would say is like, don't go into it with any expectations other than like, I just like, I want to be have fun.
Yeah.
And be joyful, because I like, if you go into it like, the thing that people love the most, and the thing that I like, when you think about like the creators that you love the most, when I think about the creators that I love the most, and the ones that I'm drawn to is like authenticity, and like the things that they love, and like real people.
Yeah.
And I think if you go into it being like, okay, I want to do this because I want to create a life for myself and a job and a side hustle, you're going to get so wrapped up in like all your videos performing well and trying to hyper curate your content to be something.
Yeah.
When in the beginning, and by the beginning, I mean like the first year or two. Like, I mean like that's the tough thing, is that like it takes I say it takes so much time to build a platform, and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's actually overnight. In my case, it has. Like, it's been a slow burn.
Yeah.
You have to focus. You can't let that kind of be your motivator. It has to be like, you have to let people get to know you.
Yeah.
That has to be the goal. Everything else will come. Like,
Yeah.
That is a guaranteed thing that will happen, but it will only happen if you build a community.
Yeah.
And you can't build a community off of like an authentic version of you.
Yeah. That's so true. I feel like any kind of creative endeavor is kind of that way as well. Like, no matter what you're pursuing, if you're trying to get to a certain level, no one's gonna want to work with you. No one's gonna want to follow you. No one's gonna want to show up for you if you're not yourself.
And you won't be happy.
Exactly.
And it's like, well, why are we doing this?
Exactly.
You know? It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
Like, the internet is so ridiculous.
It is.
Like, you think about the stuff that we make, and it's like, it's so unserious.
Right. Like, we're doing like TikTok dances.
Yes.
And like,
it's for you.
Exactly.
It's for no one else.
Exactly.
No one, it's like, that is your creative space that you get to lay claim on. Something that I say a lot of the time is like, in this industry, there are so many, we are constantly being told what we can and cannot do. And the thing that I love about my social media platforms is that it is the one place where it is mine.
Yeah.
I can do whatever I want on there. And so when someone else tells me no, I can say yes there.
Right.
Like, that place is mine. I can do whatever I want there. I can make whatever I want there. I can say the things and do the things and create the things and sing the things and perform the things I want there.
Yeah.
Like, that's yours.
Yeah.
You have total agency over your life and your career there. Like, that's such a powerful tool that we didn't have years ago.
Yeah.
Like, have fun with it.
That's so good. And I feel like anybody can be an influencer, right? But when you take a creative and put them in an influencer space, you're essentially just giving yourself free reign to be creative.
Yes.
To just come up with ideas, to throw stuff at the wall, to be like, I want to do the text this way. I want to use this trend and I want to use this edit. Like, you can literally do whatever you want, which is such a cool and like freeing thing. And if you do it, like you said at the beginning, just for joy, if you're like making sure that you're setting boundaries with yourself, knowing yourself to know when it's like you're becoming too perfectionist, or like whatever you struggle with when it comes to making things. And, you know, because I think everybody can stray away from joy in different ways. Like, I know for myself, I do it by perfectionism. Like, I'm like, okay, but I want it to be like this.
I know, you're the same thing.
It's so bad. It's like, it has to be this way. I want it to be this way. And it's like, okay, chill out. this is your space. If it's that perspective, why does my space have to be perfect? Because I'm not.
No.
You know what I mean? So it's like, if you have that mindset of like, this is your space, like, do with it what you will.
It's also like something that I try to remind myself of, because I'm the same way. Because I'm so obsessed with the way that people perceive me and trying to control it, is like, people are drawn to humans. People are drawn to your authenticity. Like, on Monday, like, I totally blanked on stage. Totally forgot where I was in my script. Literally froze. Totally forgot everything. I was like, I don't know where I am, guys. Like, I...
Like, who am I?
And I was like, my music, she's like, want me to pull it up on my phone? I was like, yeah. I was like, I do want you to do that. Like, please do that. Like, sorry, everyone.
Right.
And I was like, I couldn't stop thinking about it for the rest of the night. And I was like, I've poured over this for months and months and months. I've never, like, I can't believe I just did that. And I was thinking about it the next morning, and I was journaling about it. And, you know, I think it goes kind of back to exactly what you said. And it's like I was like, okay, I wasn't perfect last night.
Yeah.
But I was something better. Like, I was human.
Yeah.
And that's what people are drawn to. Anyone can be this perfect, hyper-curated version of themselves.
Right.
Anyone can, like, create something that looks visually perfect. Not everyone can, like, show up as this, like, authentic version of themselves.
Yeah.
And when you just, like, when you let that kind of guard down and do it, like, that's the authenticity that people are drawn to.
Yeah.
Because when I see that, I'm like, oh, love that.
Right.
You know, like,
You're a real human.
I don't want to see this, like, perfect thing. You know, you know?
Yeah. I feel like when I see, like, perfection reflected back, I immediately am like, I feel like I'm being advertised to. Like, I'm like, the way... Which is funny, because I'm like, I want perfectionism, and then I see it and I'm like, this doesn't feel real. Like, you are like, you feel like a crafted version to, like, fit my appetite, and that feels so wrong.
Yeah.
But then I'll be like, in my own creative, be like, it has to be done this way. And it's like, bro, like, and it's hard. Obviously, it's a balance, but I think even, like, you messing up on stage, if I had been in the audience, I would have been like, that is lovely.
That's what, and my two friends, because I was like, I couldn't, like, my two friends who I talked about, and they were like, that was the moment in the show where I was like, okay, we're in.
Yeah.
They both said the same thing.
Yeah.
And, like, when I look back on it, I'm like, I understand.
Yeah.
Like, I understand why you said that and where you said, like, that makes sense to me. Because
Yeah.
that was when I was like, that's when it was like, okay, we're all chatting now.
Right,
like,
we're just here.
Guard was down.
Yes.
We're not saying, you know?
You, like, relax into it. It's just like, oh, right, I am human. I can make a mistake. Let's keep going.
Now it's like, okay, wait, sorry. Like, I think my response is I was like, oh, it's a joke that I wrote that's funny. We're not skipping it. Like, and I said it, and I was like, right, that was funny. Like,
right. I love that. That's awesome. Okay, so I know there's a lot of different ways people can monetize social media. Let me explain some of those. You can tell me if I have these right or not. So there's, like, affiliate marketing, which is where you pretty much put a link in your bio and you're like, hey, I have this product, go buy it. It's in my bio, right? And you get a percentage or whatever from that. You can have brand deals where you talk to a brand and you're like, hey, let's partner. They give you money to post a video, or they put money behind your video to promote a product. Why do I keep saying project? Product. And then there's, like, Patreon, which is, like, a hub where people can make money off of your community can essentially be immersed in what you can give them, and they can pay for packages and stuff like that. Are there any that I'm missing? And did I say those right?
The Creator Fund.
Creator Fund. Yes. The Creator Fund, which is essentially where you get a certain amount of money per view. And depending on how long they view it for, you get money, correct?
Correct.
After it has to be like a minute long.
Over a minute.
And they have to watch it for, is it 5 seconds?
I don't know, actually.
It's a certain amount
I'm
of
not
seconds,
a part of it, which is a hot take.
Really?
I know, that's what everyone always says.
Why not?
I have joined it twice. Every time I've joined it, it's hurt my views. And I don't make a lot of content that's over a minute long. And the reason why I am able to charge what I charge is because of my engagement.
Wow.
And it tanked my engagement. And I said, it's not worth it.
Wow.
Because I just don't make enough videos over 1 minute long.
Yeah.
But I was like, this isn't worth it. And it's crazy because I have some friends, though, they make their rent.
Wow.
and then some. And they live in nice apartments. Like, they're not paying what I pay in rent. Like, they're not paying. Like,
that's crazy.
Yeah, they're paying much more than I pay in rent.
So I wouldn't have guessed that. But you know what? I think when I was stalking you for this, I did notice that your videos were all under a minute. And I did think to myself, I wonder if she makes money off the creator fund from this. You don't.
Yeah, I just don't for some reason, I just, like, the things that I do and make just almost never end up being over a minute long.
Wow. And why force it?
Yeah.
So what do you make? What are your streams of income?
Really, it is all through brand deals.
Okay.
It is all through working with brands.
Wow. Yeah. And like micro brands, big brands, like.
Typically, it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
It's a mix. So like, I just did like a collaboration with Dyson, and then like right now, I'm like contracting a campaign with like a smaller brand that's like a bit more boutique, but like it's still like very mainstream. But like, it's literally all over the place.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you feel like you've been able to partner with those brands because you have made sure your content was kind of wide open for it?
Honestly, yeah. I don't really know how I did this, but I somehow managed to like kind of create this weird little niche market of being a like lifestyle creator who also fits into this like beauty world, who also does theater. So like, and that is like one of the reasons why I've had a lot of brands reach out to me. Like when L'Oreal launched this 24-hour foundation, they were like, hey, this foundation is really supposed to last. We would love for you to, like, when you do one of those vlogs where you like go to work as a singing waiter and go to these auditions, you wear it.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's like,
that's so niche.
Right, it's like post-show skincare.
Yeah,
like,
that's crazy. Like you're somehow doing beauty, which is typically like a really big market, and tailoring it to a very small niche. So you're like big in the small.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
You know what I also always, the marketing girls, the girls on the PR teams, they were all theater girls, all of them. Every last one of them were theater kids.
You're so right.
Because like you end up like finding them like when you go to the events, or like when you like have to go somewhere for something and you end up meeting them and you were like, I knew it. They were like they'll say something and you were like, I knew it.
Like I feel like it comes out. It's so funny whenever it comes out that an influencer used to do theater. It's like, yes.
Yeah, of course you did.
Of course
you
did.
Or like when I get a follow from one of them and I'm like, I knew it. Like I just knew it. Like some of them I'll follow, I'll get a follow back and be like, I knew it.
Right. You're like, ha!
I knew you went to Frenchwoods. Like I knew you did something like this.
That's funny. That's hilarious. What are some, okay, so like, I feel like that's probably a misconception that like most influencers aren't a part of theater, but they really are.
We're all performers.
Yeah, like all.
I firmly believe that.
Yes. But what's like a couple of, or like one misconception that people have about influencers?
I think that a lot of them are not like they are. Like, I think that a lot of people, the question I always get is like, is so-and-so the same in person as they are online? Especially in like the theater community, I have never met someone that is not exactly the same.
Wow.
Like everyone is like pretty much like that is who they are.
That is so surprising.
That's what people always say.
Wow.
Like genuinely everyone is like pretty much cut and paste, like exactly authentically pretty much who they are. And there's like I always say like I share my whole life on the internet with the exception of some very important and large parts of it. The question that I always ask myself before I like, because a huge part of my platform is like sharing a lot of very personal things about my life.
Yeah.
Is like, did 14-year-old Cara need to hear it? Will it take something from 25-year-old Cara to say? If the answer is yes, won't share it. Like that's kind of how I check in with myself.
Such great question.
Because it's like, if it's gonna take something for me to say, I don't need to say it. But if it won't, I'm like, okay, like I'll say it. If I feel like I'm like, oh, that could be a thing I could respond to in this.
Steal that, write
you have
that
to
down.
set boundaries.
That's good. That's good.
You have to write that down. But like, for the most part, like people, it's because you have to learn how to like be authentic while also and like share your life. That's kind of a line that I'm learning how to toe, especially right now as my platform's kind of starting to grow and I'm starting to branch my I feel like my content is starting to expand past this very kind little theater corner of the internet and starting to reach this broader world where I'm like, oh, and then it's people start kind of encroaching And I'm trying to learn how to set those boundaries of being like, yes, I do share my whole life with you. That doesn't mean you're entitled to it.
Exactly.
You know? So it's like everyone is exactly who they are.
Yeah.
But like also people are people.
Yeah.
And have their own stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you know?
Yeah. So it's like making sure that you're authentic, but also holding boundaries. And that means you may show up a little differently, but not in a way that's not authentic.
It's still you.
It's just, I know. Okay. So like, this is like when you meet somebody you don't know and you kind of are like, yada, yada, whatever. And then they ask you a question that's low-key personal and you're kind of just like, ooh, let me make sure I say this, but also don't give too much and whatever. It's not that you're not yourself. It's just a very particular and intentional way of saying something or communicating a thing to make sure you're still safe, but that person is also getting you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like you're seeing 1 minute
Yes.
of someone's whole life.
Yeah.
That is like a perfect analogy.
Yeah.
Perfect analogy.
That's cool. Because I honestly had never thought of it that way either. I was just kind of like, there's no way these people are like this all the time.
And like maybe like in the other spaces of the internet, that's true.
Right.
But like in this one, it's like everyone's like, hey.
Yeah.
And pretty much cut, paste, copy the same.
Yeah.
Like everyone's.
That's awesome. Okay, well, that was so good. Everything you shared, everything you were able to like shine a light on when it comes to influencing. Thank you for taking the time to do it.
Of course.
Thank you for being here. I feel like I could have asked you like 100 other questions.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's one of those things where it's like I've had these questions before, and the only way that I've learned about them is through asking other people, because how else are you going to learn? It's just like also gatekept.
Yes.
And it's like, how else are you going to learn if you don't ask questions for like, you know?
From the people who are doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, it's kind of one of those, like you have to like, everyone has to kind of follow. If you want to do something, like you have to be like, okay, well, what did that person do?
Yeah.
And
this isn't like something you can kind of go to school for.
No.
Like marketing isn't really catered to this
No.
yet. So it's like the only way you can learn about it is asking the people who are actively doing it right now. Mm-hmm. And so I thank you for taking the time to share. Where can people find you if they want to see more of you? What are some projects coming up? Like tell the people about yourself.
Oh my gosh. I like, now that this show is over, I'm like, I feel like I have all this real estate in my life back.
Nice.
You'll see me, if you want to find me anywhere, it's literally just my full name.
Perfect.
So Cara Rose DiPietro everywhere. I don't have like anything coming up. Maybe when this comes out, that'll be changed.
I
know
love
that the show is over. I'm like,
you're gonna break
nothing.
Yes.
But you'll see
awesome.
every video of that whole show come up when you look at my name. But yeah,
Lovely.
nothing.
Lovely. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I loved
Lovely.
it. Lovely.
If you feel like you cannot spell her name correctly, it will be linked in the description box. So check her out. She's awesome. She's wonderful. And you should go follow her and join her community. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like this episode, please consider subscribing, liking, sharing to everyone you know so that we can keep Suffering for Art going. I'm happy to grow with you. I'm happy to learn with you. And I will see you next episode. Bye.